In today's video, we're going to talk about a simple, fast, and effective debt verification / validation letter that you can use to stop debt collectors. This is a letter that I've used for years. I've enhanced the letter over time from things that I've learned with dealing with debt collectors, from actually speaking to debt collectors and finding out there's certain information that they must provide to be able to continue coming after you for a debt. Now, something that I want to kind of go over a little bit, because I always like to give you some good reason behind why things work, and I'm going to make this very simple for you to follow. So please follow me on this. If you think about when you are presented with something, if you think about it, you're always thinking one step ahead. Like if I was to tell you, hey, you can use this debt collection letter to stop debt collectors, the first thing that's going to probably pop up in your mind as I'm talking is that, will it work for me? Why would it work for me? And will it actually stop debt collectors? Like you're thinking like ahead of what I'm telling you. So what I want to do is I want to fill in some of the blanks. The reason why this letter that I created, this simple and easy and fast letter to stop debt collectors by doing a simple and easy debt verification / validation on the debt that they claim that you owe. The reason why it works is because I figured out from talking with debt collectors. This is why it's so important that you work with people who have actually done the work that they're claiming that they do here on YouTube. So from speaking with debt collection lawyers, like actually negotiating with the lawyers, and also talking with their representatives, I've personally done it. My staff has also done it. We get a feeling of what they worry about you asking and what they don't expect you to ask. So there's certain things. So what wouldn't they expect you to ask? They don't expect you to ask what I'm going to be talking about in this letter, because they don't even expect you to know it. They know that you know about the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. They know that you know about the Fair Credit Reporting Act. They know that you know about the CFPB, the FTC, all of that stuff. But see, here's the thing, is that you don't know how to apply it against them. And what I see most people do, and what most of the people on YouTube, even attorneys that are on YouTube, when they speak on this, they only speak about it from the law. Like, here's the law and I'm going to just give it to you, without even understanding how people react to what you're giving them. So let me give you an example. You get a debt collection lawsuit. No, let's not even go lawsuit. Let's not even get there, because we're going to talk about that in a minute. Let's say that you get a debt collection letter in the mail. Think about it. You get a debt collection letter in the mail. What are the different things that run through your mind in advance on that letter? So some of the things could be, what am I going to do about this? Like, you get the letter, what am I going to do about this? You get the letter, do I even owe this? You get the letter, I thought that this was all over with. That is what they had planned for you to think. They had it planned for you to think that way. So because they had it planned for you to think that way, what do you think what do you think you and I are about to do? What do you think you and I are about to do to the debt collectors who are sending you letters? We're about to make them think of some things. So it's like playing cards or playing poker or playing 21. You don't show your hand. You don't want to show your hand. You know, even though at the blackjack table they get to see your hand, but in certain games you don't show your hand. And by you not showing your hand, you make their mind start to think the way that they're trying to make you think. So when I design the letter that I talk about at the end of all of my videos, where I say you use a cease and desist collection activities letter. And I'll show you how to get that letter in a minute. But let's go through the reasons why it works. And there's been plenty of people who have said it worked for them. They have thanked me, and I appreciate it, because this is something that I do for you, to be able to allow you to be able to use something that can be like a tool in your pocket, in your bag, in your purse, in your wallet, to be able to effectively stop debt collectors who buy your debt. Because when they buy your debt, they're buying it for pennies on the dollar. And if there is a way for you to be able to stop them, which more than likely it's going to be if you do this right early in the process, you can get the best results start to happen when you challenge a debt collector early in the process before they get into spending money and taking you to court. But I still have an answer for that. So in the letter that I've created that's been so effective, I want you to think about it this way. This is what we do. So we just said, when they send you that Dunning, it's called a Dunning letter, that first letter saying, hey, we own this debt, or whatever they want to say in there. They're just identifying that they're trying to collect on the debt. They show the original creditor, allow you to be able to dispute any or all or whatever. They put all of that information in that letter. But the number one thing for that letter is to make you think and feel a certain way. That's the whole thing. Because when people get that letter, you got the letter, how do you feel? You can read the letter, but still, how do you feel? That's the part that I want to get across to you, is that these letters are made to give you a certain feeling. And when you have that feeling, it can make you react one way or another way. We don't even have to get into that. You have your own feelings. And because I'm in this business and I deal with a lot of people, I can tell you that when people get that letter, that the feelings are all over the board. All over the board. Because the first thing that you're going to do, especially if you've never experienced this before, is that you're going to go into a fear and flight mode because you've never experienced it. And then you have those people that have experienced it before, getting debt collection letters. They've experienced getting debt collection letters before. They're like a veteran in the process. So they don't really get afraid with the letter, but they get afraid with the next step of if they take them to court. And then if they end up taking them to court, then they never experienced that before. Then they default right back down to the level that they were when they first got that first debt collection letter, which is all out fear. I don't know what to do. I'm seeking for solutions and answers. I just need to deal with this debt. So pertaining to getting that first letter and understanding how they're trying to make you feel, let's make them feel a certain way by responding to them the right way and asking them the right question. So when they sent you that Dunning letter, quote unquote, that collection letter that looks like a bill, but it's actually just a letter stating that they've purchased the debt, or that they're in charge of collecting the debt, and that you have a right to dispute any or part of the debt. And if you don't do it within 30 days, it is saying, yes, I owe this debt. And we can put this on your credit reports, and we can move forward all different types of ways to collect on that debt. That's what that 30-day letter is all about. But they don't go into telling you why they're doing that. They don't say, well, we're sending that because we want to give you the opportunity, and if you do dispute it, it's going to make us not have to be able to move forward the way that we want to move forward. And if you dispute any or all of it, that we have to go and do some work to go get more information to prove that you have to pay this debt. If they don't go into that, they don't go into that. They just go into making that letter to get you to have a certain feeling about what that letter. They let your own feelings come out. And whatever way you react, that's the way you react. And they know that. So they know some of the people are going to be veterans. Some of the people are going to be rookies, quote unquote. And some of the people are going to just go all out fear and just call them and say, hey, I just need to work out a deal without even knowing their rights. See, they don't make the letter so you know your rights. So when we make a letter, the letter that I made, that has from experience with talking with attorneys, debt collection attorneys, debt collection reps, not just guessing, not just looking at the law as it shows. We're talking about making them feel a certain way. So if you send a debt collection letter, let's just talk about some of the things that we want to make them think about. But we don't need to mention it. We just need to say it a certain way to make them think, okay, do we have to worry about this? Or do we have to worry about that? Do we have to worry about this? So let's just talk about some of the things that debt collectors have to worry about. Debt collectors have to worry about if they make false representations or implications that a debt collection is vouched for, bonded by, or affiliated with any government agency. Now, false representation, implication that a debt collector is vouched for, is vouched for. You don't need to say it that way, though. In my letter, I tell you exactly how to say it so they do their homework to see if they've done that. Because look, think about it this way. When they send you that letter, do they go into detail about what you need to worry about? Or do they leave it up to your own mind on what you need to worry about? You're just flipping it. With that, the letter that I provide for you, the simple, easy, effective debt verification / validation letter that I give to you, this is what you're going to do to them to make them think. So, did we do anything to misrepresent or implicate that this debt collection company is vouched for or bonded by any government agency? Oh, did we have any false representation of the character or the amount or the legal status of this debt? Did we, not me, but the debt collector, any services rendered or compensated by which may be lawfully received by any debt collector for the collection of the debt. Any services rendered or compensated which may be lawfully received by. So did they misrepresent? And I've seen this in court cases, but did they misrepresent that? Any services rendered or compensated which may be lawfully received by any debt collector for any collection of a debt. The false representation or implication that any individual is an attorney or that any communication is from an attorney. So, if did their representative do that? Did their representative do that? Understand what I'm saying? Threat to take any action that cannot legally be taken or that is not intended to be taken. I just had like about 3 or 4 over the last month where they stated that they were suing people and they had never filed a court case, never filed a court case. Now, with something like this, you would directly point that out if it got to that. But again, with the letter where we're stopping stuff early, before it even gets to a lot of this stuff, is by having this letter that I made for you. This simple, easy, effective debt validation letter / verification that can stop debt collectors, because we're making them think what mistakes or what they may have done. We want to make them do their own homework. As a matter of fact, some of the times when they send the letter back to respond, if they do, so most of the time they just say that they're not going to come after the person for the debt. But a lot of times when they do send the letter back, they will open up and reveal exactly what they believe had happened. Or they may say that we did not misrepresent this debt in whatever way. You know, that you never know what they're going to respond back and say with that. But we've seen that where they see they're going to come to their own idea of what you mean by your letter. But what you have to do is you have to put the right code, the right statutes in that letter to make them think about which one of the A, B, the different the statutes that are in the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So which one of those could they have violated? But you leave that up to them to determine if their representative has done that. And 9 times out of 10, they know their company, they know what they're doing. They can determine that they're not going to be moving forward on your specific debt. So what I want to do is I want to invite you, there's a link below this video, get my 3 free letters. And if you have a debt collector coming after you, grab my 3 free letters. There's a statute of limitations letter, and I'm going to go into another video on how to use that letter, why that letter is so effective. But for this one here, what you want to do, if you have a debt collector that is sending you a letter in the mail saying that they want to collect on a debt, I have 2 letters for you. The cease and desist collection activities letter is letter number 1, and then letter number 2 is a debt validation letter. You want to use those 2 in conjunction to stop a debt collector from coming after you for a debt that they have purchased. If you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, What Makes Us Different, so you can see my 8-point validation process, my 2-phase settlement process. If you need your credit reports and scores, go to the website your3scores.com. The number 3, so YOUR, the number 3 scores.com. Grab your TransUnion, Equifax, Experian credit reports and all 3 scores. If you have debt collectors coming after you, just like I just mentioned, there's a link below here. Grab my 3-pack of letters. I do ask for a donation on those, but even if you don't donate, you'll still get it. But those letters can literally save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars if you use it properly. And all you have to do is fill in the information in the spots that I tell you to do it and send it directly to the debt collector at the address that's shown on the letter that they're sending their letter from. And you need to, follow my instructions on there. Thank you for your time. Please subscribe to the channel. Post your questions and comments. It's Stephen A. Williams, President and founder of thecreditrepairshop.com.